Before Brown versus Board of Education became a defining Supreme Court ruling, there was Briggs versus Elliott. Born in rural South Carolina, the case began with a simple demand: equal access to education. Black children in Clarendon County walked miles to school, while white children rode buses funded by taxpayer dollars. Families asked for buses, but what they received instead was resistance. But they did not back down. The families who joined the case understood the danger. Many faced intimidation, economic retaliation, and threats to their safety. Yet they believed the fight was necessary.
We talk about integration, but that integration never came up in our household. It was equal access to education. And they weren't the same thing any other South Carolina child was getting, equal access. With that petition, they was willing to risk reprisal. And they're born and raised in that community. They know who they was dealing with. They know those who on the plantation risked a lot if they signed their name. They knew those who was indebted to the bank, what was at risk. So they're not, people raised in the South, you know Jim Crow law. You know how to live and fight for a better day. So they knew reprisal will come. I didn't think they knew how swift or how evil it will come. But it will come to everyone who dared to change a system that was unjust and was not representative of a true education. So they banded together, signed it, paid the price.
The legal challenge drew the attention of NAACP attorney Thurgood Marshall, whose strategy would help reshape the nation. For young people watching the proceedings, the courtroom felt larger than life.
Felt like I wanted to burst. I just wanted, you know, it was, I don't know, it was entertaining, it was educational, and then I felt that we were trying to accomplish something for the black race. And I don't know, I just felt good, and that's how I grew up. My grandfather was one of those people that, you know, he didn't take any of those sass from anybody if he says that he was, you know, whatever, and they were just those kind of people. And then they told him about, you know, tell your boy to take his name off that petition, off all that stuff, and he spit his little tobacco juice on the ground, and he used to walk with his hands in his pocket like this. And he says, first of all, I ain't got no boys. He says, I ain't got no boy. And he'll eat dirt. He'll eat dirt, he says, before he take his name off of that petition.
What unfolded in those courtrooms would eventually reach the highest court in the nation. But the road to the Supreme Court was shaped by politics, geography, and strategy. On May 17, 1954, the United States Supreme Court issued its landmark ruling in Brown versus Board of Education, declaring segregated public schools unconstitutional. But the decision combined several cases from across the country, including Briggs versus Elliott. Joseph Delane Jr., son of Reverend Joseph Delane, reflected on why the South Carolina case did not become the namesake.
As that case wound through the courts and got to the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court deliberately remanded the case back to the lower court, the district court, to determine the progress that South Carolina had made. That was done in order to stall the case's appearance before the Supreme Court until other cases got there. Now you get the other cases there, and they make a ruling. And now they don't want to name it Briggs. And they don't name it Briggs. They name it Brown.